Let me ask you this question, being that you brought up her name in regards to, what's going on with Taraji P. Henson. What do you think about that whole thing?
Brother, let me, in a very rudimentary sense,
Right.
I do not know her.
Right.
I have met her twice. If we met again, she may not even remember.
Right.
However, her plight, if you will, is almost universal to our culture.
Okay.
You can add some, let's say, white actresses to it.
Right.
Because the business of this is run by him, right? Tyler is an anomaly.
Right.
Spike is an anomaly. However, Taraji's, what she's speaking of right now, if I said she's 110% correct, I would probably still not have enough. Because she's 110% correct.
Right.
And if I can't interject, Russell, let me just give the people some context, okay? So she said that when you hear someone go, such and such made 10 million, she said that it didn't make it to their account. She also said off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50% and now you have 5 million. Your team is getting 30% of what you gross and not after what Uncle Sam took. Now, if you do the math, every time I do something and break another glass ceiling, which I feel this is important, it's like she has to do it all over again. She's starting at the bottom all over again. So,
all over again.
Yeah, I mean, so what's your thoughts? If you can continue your thoughts on that.
I'll put it to you like this. There will be an actor of an equal station, if you will, doing the same or less in the same project, and they will have been able to, via their reps, negotiate a sum that Taraji and her fellow actors are deserving of, but for some reason, not even considered. Not even considered. Sometimes you will get a Mark Wahlberg or someone, who will say, no. She deserves, Sean Penn is good for this. She and they deserve equal to, or at least commiserate with what they're doing.
Right.
And you don't just come in and give them some low-level, glad to be here contract, because they're doing the work and they deserve it. The numbers that Taraji was putting out, Ms. Henson was putting out, are clear. They are factual if you go to anyone's contract. There are things that are written in. You have to get your reps and management to go in there and get that. Sometimes you have to get a lawyer to come in and get you what was already there. But if you didn't know to ask, you wouldn't get it. It's just the way it is. It's not right. But you know that going in the game. So when we see a Taraji, when we see a couple of other people who are in these projects and are instrumental, impactful to the story, representation, everything, and they've taken, let's say, 100 grand, 150 for a certain role because they wanted to be there with that A-list star, they are banking that, okay, I can top this next time. Next time don't always come.
Might not happen, right?
Right? It may not happen. One thing I read years ago was heartbreaking, but it was real, and it's showing itself, even though there are more of us and more roles. I was reading, there was a strike or something going on years ago, and an executive from one of the big agencies was, quote, he didn't want to be quoted, but everyone knew who he was because they put the name of the agency in this old school newspaper, LA Times. He said, why do we have to put them on TV? They're going to watch it anyway.
Wow.
So it's not about if they like you and want you in it. Who from Ford or Tide or McDonald's is going to buy advertising time to see him or her? TV is about advertising.
Right.
I do commercials also. Actually, I like doing them. A lot of actors won't because it's such a kettle call situation. When we were on strike, the commercial industry wasn't per se on strike, but the Screen Actors Guild was. But what happened, commercials came down because there were no new shows. And advertisers didn't want to buy time on reruns. Because again, you're going to watch them anyway.
Right.
Right.
They wanted to come out, new product, new shows, and what have. They have this thing called upfronts. You may know about it, so forgive me. All the new shows, old school pilot season, shoot the pilot, come May, you go to upfronts, you show everybody, all the agencies buy ad time on the new shows. Pilot season is year round now, and advertising is so different, right, that it doesn't quite work that way anymore. But that determined how well your show would do, right, or at least how much time you would get. You used to do a show, guys, and they would give you almost a season to see if it'll work. Their show's getting cut after 3 airings.
Right.
They don't give it a chance to develop an audience, right? So to sum up all of what you said, Taraji's statement is so layered.
Right.
Starting with, she's right.
Right.
Monique was right. When Viola speaks, even though she's in a different ether, but to her credit, when she speaks, she doesn't forget where she came from, and not culturally, but in terms of the business. So she and her husband, they leave a door open, right, in the best way they can for those who are coming through. And when they have the large platform, they'll speak. They'll do it, but it doesn't always translate into a good check, if you will, for the journeyman actor, right? But again, with what Taraji's doing, I think some people are sensationalizing what she's saying by using the emotional clips of the interviews. If you were to follow the whole interview and to hear that clarity, that passion beyond the tears, because the tears are, I won't speak on the story because I don't know enough of it. I will say this, when she hit this town, like most of us, she wasn't the Taraji we know now.
Right. You're right about that.
Her and baby, and she stayed with it and made it happen. So some of those tears are some of those looking at that light bill a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, trying to get to Ralph's, which is our, grocery store here. She knows that and she remembers that. Right. So some of that passion is remembering that and that journey she's taken. And at this point in her career, given all of, not just the accolades, but the work. Given all that, no, she deserves to be paid equal to people who are in her present station, who might have a different aesthetic, for what it's worth.
Given, everything that you just said, if I put you in a position where you can say, what can we do to actually change this? Because this is on Front Street now. So like now everybody knows with her breaking this down, what it equates to. And I'm pretty sure, like you said, it's people that's, not to use the term derogatory, but lower on the totem pole that's coming in this thing than Taraji P. Henson. And it's like, how do we go forward and say, all right, maybe we need to look at everybody's contracts and everybody's body of work and see where everybody fits in this thing. How would you attack that, Russell?
Or do you even believe that this is possible to, change this whole culture?
You know what?
Because I kind of look at it like equal pay, for just the regular African American, you know what I mean? Like we don't have equal pay, just in the regular world. So, I kind of look at it like that. Do you look at it the same way or?
The end of the day, right? It is about going to the bank.
Right.
However, and this is important, we have to think, our folk, we have to think in terms of not creating these little subsets of things and think of it in a bigger way. I say that to say all of the talent we have in all of the disciplines, film, TV, radio, music, producing, directing, acting, stage, all of those things. We have that. We have it, right? But like college football, when they start plucking all the black athletes from HBCUs and taking them to the Alabamas and the Michigans and Georgias, then our base got smaller. There is a reality of being able to build this huge system of where we have studios, we have producers, we have actors, we have directors, we have crew, we have land, we have buildings, i.e. Mr. Perry. We have all of that. And what Tyler's doing, brother was trying to do in Virginia 30 years ago. 30, Tim, brother from Venus Flytrap, he was...
Oh, the WKRP dude?
Thank you. I always forget Tim's last name. Forgive me, brother. Teddy Riley was trying to do it years ago in music, though. But what I'm saying is it can be done, but we have to be careful with the
Tim Reed,
I got to get mine syndrome.
Tim Reed, folks. Tim Reed,
thank you very much. Forgive me. We have to think in terms of growing it. Now, in terms of